Welcome to Small Arms Solutions. Today we're going to be looking at the CZ Scorpion EVO S1. Well, S1 means semi-automatic. This pistol has become quite popular. It's available in both in pistol, SBR, as well as a carbine variation. It has proven to become extremely popular, but the name Scorpion does not begin with this particular pistol. It goes back to 1961. 1961, there was the VZ61 pistol designed at that time in Czechoslovakia. It was actually a pistol. It was chambered in 3 different calibers. The VZ Scorpion was a pistol, much more so of the true sense. It weighed only 2.8 pounds compared to the 5 pounds you see with the current. So it's almost double as heavy as its predecessor. The VZ61 was magazine fed, very similar. It had a magazine in the front. They held generally 20 rounds. The VZ61 was offered in several different calibers, including the 32 auto or the 7.65 by 17 millimeter, also 9 by 19 or 9 millimeter NATO, 9 by 18 Makarov, as well as 380 automatic or 9 by 17. It was also blowback operated, same as the EVO3. It was also a selective fire pistol. The VZ Scorpion was around 850 rounds a minute, 900 rounds a minute in that area. Very high rate of fire for a machine pistol. With that rate of fire and a small handgun like that, it's great if you get into a gunfight in a phone booth. Other than that, they're fairly inaccurate, especially as light as the VZ61 was. You had excessive muzzle rise. Now, the pistol was in production from 1961 to 1979. Approximately 200,000 of them were built. It had seen combat in the Vietnam War as well as the Yugoslavian wars. Around 2015, the CZ introduced the Scorpion. Now, the CZ Scorpion has been produced for the Czech Republic military, special forces, and also by police. It's actually in military service. It's not in a pistol configuration, it's in a submachine gun configuration with a folding stock, but mechanically it's identical. So now we're going to take a close look at the features on this pistol. Starting at the barrel, we're looking at a 7.72-inch cold hammer forged 9mm barrel. This is the pistol length barrel. They do have also a longer 16-inch for the commercial carbine, but this one's 7.72 inches. It's excellent barrel. This is I can't see this being shot out in anybody's lifetime. It's an excellent barrel. This pistol makes a wide use of polymer. You have the entire upper frame, the lower frame, the pistol grip. Also, what we're going to see in a few minutes is going to be the trigger module. You have front and rear sight. The front sight is very typical, your M16 type front sight post with it's adjustable with any kind of a pin or whatnot. You can adjust that. The rear sight is quite interesting. It has changeable apertures. However, unlike, for instance, the M16 where you'll have a long range and a short range, here you have multiple. You have everything from a very small hole for longer range, and then the holes get a little bit wider in the apertures, and those are really good for close quarter battle, low level light. So it gives you a lot more options for as far as apertures. Adjustable from the right hand side. You can use a screwdriver or a coin for that. You do have hook points for putting on an optic. Your magazine release is located right in front of the trigger. It is ambidextrous. The pistol comes with a 20-round translucent magazine. They also do manufacture 30-round magazines as well. The safety is ambidextrous on both sides, where this is my biggest point of contention. The only thing that I truly disliked about this pistol was the fact that when it's in the fire condition, that safety hits your trigger finger. And it made shooting this pistol extremely uncomfortable because it was digging into my hand. Now, I do understand that there is a couple companies who are now making aftermarket safeties, thank God, that will take care of that. But I will say, this being a factory pistol, this was really annoying. Parts of the VZ61, the cocking handle is on the left side in the top here. The pistol does lock open on the last shot. There are 2 positions for the bolt release. One is the standard river position, which you would drop the magazine, insert a loaded magazine, and you hit your bolt catch at the top here, and that will let it go forward. Then you also have for disassembly, as well as safety, pulling all the way back and then lifting upward. And that's going to be used for disassembly, which we're going to show you in just a minute. I do have on here some Manta rail protection panels. Now, this is quad 1913 rails. You do have your continuous top rail, and then you have a 3, 9, and 12 o'clock rail. If you do not have something on here, it's going to be extremely uncomfortable to shoot. I can definitely say that, because unfortunately at the time when I shot this, I did not have any of these panels out with me. I wish I would have. As far as the top 1913 rail, this is all polymer. No, so for as far as this being, whether it's in spec or not, I really haven't checked to see if it conformed. It's very difficult to get 1913 rails to conform properly in polymer. So, you know, most people who are going to use this, they're not going to be using iron sights. They're going to be using some type of a red dot optic. It does come with a hand stop. Now, again, these Manta rail protectors I put on. Now, also, we do have, for all of our viewers who are interested in buying any of the Manta rail protectors or any of the Manta products, you type in our product code SACE20, and you will be able to get 20% off of your entire order on the Manta website. So the next thing we're going to take a look at is disassembly. So we're make sure it's unloaded. We're going to make sure we have the safety engaged here, and we're going to make sure that we have the cocking handle in the up position, not the down position, but fully up and engaged. We have a pin right here we're going to push from right to left, and pull it out to detent on the left side. Pull forward and pull out. And this is your trigger module. The whole outer casing is all polymer, and inside we have, obviously we have the hammer and springs. That's all steel. We have the ejector right here, and again, this is captive, so you won't lose it. Now, to remove the bolt group, we have to unlock the bolt. We're going to let it go forward. We're going to pull back slightly, lift up, and we're going to pull the assembly right out. This is your bolt assembly and recoil spring all together as one here. Now, this is extremely heavy, and this has to be that way. This is a blowback operated. So to keep the bolt closed for the timing of the weapon, to keep it closed, you're going to have the mass of the weight of the bolt, and you're going to have the heavy recoil spring. That's what closes and keeps the bolt closed until such time as the pressures have dropped, so you can safely extract and eject the cartridge. It's really not disassembled after this. It pretty much all stays together. So you would just wipe this down. You want to clean out your the breech face a little bit with a good brush, but you don't have to take it apart any further than this. Now, inside you can see your metal rails, everything that the bolt rides in on. There's very little use of metal in this. It is mostly polymer, and quite frankly, is that a bad thing? No, it's not. Just due to the dynamics of the way this thing works, this is not going to be any more or less reliable than a similar gun in steel. It's just going to be a heck of a lot heavier or a heck of a lot lighter than the steel gun. But it's extremely light. Once you take the bolt out of there, this drops down dramatically in weight. So for reassembly, you want to make sure that you have the larger end of the spring facing down. Insert, pull back, and now we're going to drop into place. We have this held in the open position still, so now we can safely and easily drop the trigger mechanism back into place. Forward, close, drop down. Now, anytime you take something apart, you always want to do a function check, so we're going to put it on semi. Pull the trigger, hear a click, and when we release the trigger, we should hear a metallic click, and that tells you we're in proper shape. Now, the price on this is around $800 or so. Now, when you compare it to what it's mostly compared to, like the SIG MPX, now the MPX is around $1,600 to $1,800. So it's about half the price of what you would have, in its competition. Now, for as far as comparing the two pistols, one of the things that many reviewers, have talked about is the fact that when using suppressed, the whole back on here is totally enclosed. Where, like on the MPX, you'll have some air gap between receivers, between the charging handle, where gas can come back and hit you in the face. Now, I have not fired this suppressed. However, I have fired the SIG MPX. I didn't find it as being much of a problem. But one of the things that people do claim they like better is the fact that this is easier to fire suppressed, because you don't get as much blowback into your face from that high pressure gas coming back into the mechanism. Now, for as far as which one of these I like better is that's a whole different video. But the cost is about half that much of the SIG MPX. For as far as reliability is concerned, I don't think there's much of a difference. But speaking of reliability, I think what we're going to do is take this to the range and we're going to see how it shoots.
I have a CZ Scorpion pistol. I have to say right off the bat, I don't like the location of the safety because it's running right into my finger, causing some extreme discomfort.
Firing about 300 or 400 rounds out of this thing without having a single malfunction, it was excellent. Reliability, accuracy was good for that of a pistol. Now, a lot of the problems that I would have with this is only because I'm not very good with these types of pistols. I like a stock. These are fairly uncomfortable for me, regardless of the manufacturer, so I just had a little bit harder of a time with it. But I was able to shoot quite accurate with it. But as I mentioned before, this was unacceptable for me. I just couldn't deal with the safety. If I was to buy one of these, the first thing I would do is I would get that safety switched out with one of these other ones, or I would at least take a Dremel to it, and I would take that out. Since I'm right-handed, anyways, I probably would take that whole arm right off, just because I don't need it. The magazines were very easy to use. Just this year, SHOT Show, Magula introduced the Magula or Lula loader for the CZ Scorpion, so those are available now to help you reload. Now, when you're loading these magazines on just a few at a time, it's no big deal. But if you're loading a lot of these, that loader would be extremely useful. So I requested the pistol version for one specific reason, and that particular reason is due to the ATF's recent ruling, they're now saying that if you have a brace on here, that you can hold it up to your shoulder and use it as a stock. So I think with that, you're going to see a lot more of these guns being bought now in pistol forms, and people adding the SIG braces to them. That's sort of a way of getting around the NFA ruling on having it as an SBR. A lot of people I think would be, myself included, if I was to purchase one of these, I would get a tax stamp on it and I would put a regular stock on it. But with the new NFA ruling on being able to use the stock, I think you're going to see a lot more of these being bought, even in place of the 9mm carbines, the 16-inch barrels. And quite frankly, if you look at the 16-inch versus the 7.72-inch here, you don't gain all that much in velocity with the 16-inch barrel. And there's a reason for that. The reason is when the 9mm cartridge fires, the propellant is very fast burning. It's designed for pistols, so it's designed to burn up within 5 inches. So once that propellant is burned, you're no longer gaining velocity. You're actually going to start to slightly decrease your velocity. So you're going to see your velocity difference between a 7 or 8 inch barrel versus a 16 is not going to be that much different. I think in some cases you may see it could be even slightly lower. So if you're looking at these and you had the stock on here, there really would be no benefit in buying a carbine over the pistol. You're not really going to gain anything other than sight radius, and that generally doesn't matter because you're going to put an optic on it anyways. But my overall impressions with its reliability were excellent. The accuracy was excellent, and my ability to shoot more uncomfortable like this. For as far as the 9mm caliber pistols that are out there today, it's certainly going to be competitively priced, and it's going to be as reliable as anything else. If you guys have any questions, please feel free to leave me a comment. I hope you enjoyed the video. If you did, please click like. Please subscribe, and even better, share. Thank you.